Have you ever wondered about the power of a saint's relic, or how someone could know the unspoken details of your past? In today's video, we delve into two incredible stories involving Padre Pio's miraculous gifts. Stay tuned for these incredible accounts. Welcome to Following Padre Pio. Whether you're a returning viewer or new to our channel, we're excited to have you with us. Padre Pio, a Capuchin friar, mystic, and miracle worker, continues to inspire and intercede in powerful ways today. Join us as we share new videos and shorts 5 days a week, diving into the extraordinary life and miracles of this beloved saint. Discover how Padre Pio's legacy can touch your life and the life of your loved ones. Subscribe now and let's embark on this spiritual journey together. For today's video, I have prepared for you two fascinating short stories. One exemplifies the extraordinary healing power of Padre Pio's relic, while the other showcases his inexplicable knowledge of things he could not have previously known. I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to these, so let's dive right in. Our first story is sourced from the book The Saint, the Revolution of Padre Pio by Jose Maria Zavala. Within its pages, Zavala shares the testimony of Anna Benvenuto, and it revolves around her late husband who, at one point in his life, suddenly started experiencing vision problems, unaware of his diabetes. Anna recalls that one morning her husband expressed that he was not seeing properly. So he went to the doctor, who sent him for some tests. The results revealed an extremely high blood sugar level, which eventually led him to a pre-coma state. Despite treatment and a strict diet, his vision continued to worsen. Aware that his diabetes could lead to complete blindness, he sought another specialist. It was at this time that Anna rushed to see Padre Pio. After confessing her sins, she told him about her husband's illness, explaining that doctors had no hope for a cure. Padre Pio leaned closer to the small confessional window and quietly said, "I believe it's something temporary." A few days later, two of Mrs. Benvenuto's sons assisted Padre Pio with the Holy Mass. During the Mass, Padre Pio used a handkerchief to wipe his tears. One of Anna's sons managed to keep the handkerchief and gave it to his mother. She promptly placed it, still damp, over her husband's eyes. Suddenly, they felt an intense scent of roses, convincing them that they had received the grace they had all so fervently prayed for. The next morning, Anna's husband put on his glasses, but surprisingly, he exclaimed, "I see worse. I can't see anything." The reason he was seeing poorly was because he no longer needed glasses at all. His vision had been completely restored and his diabetes was gone. End of our first story. Our second story today is a testimony given by Joe Greco. His journey of devotion to Padre Pio began with a dream. Listen to this. Joe Greco had a dream where he met Padre Pio on a road and pleaded with him to save his gravely ill father, who had just undergone a dangerous operation. Miraculously, after the dream, Joe's father suddenly recovered. Grateful and amazed, Joe decided to travel to San Giovanni Rotondo to thank Padre Pio in person. After waiting several days, Joe finally had the opportunity to go to confession with Padre Pio. Joe recounts the meeting. "When Padre Pio saw me, he said, 'Well, your father is all right then.' It shattered me because I had never been to San Giovanni Rotondo before. I had never been to that part of the world, nor did I know anyone down there. Yet I posed a question in my mind asking, 'Was it you? Was it you?' And he replied, 'In the dream, in the dream.' I started shaking. I was scared stiff, to tell the truth. I said, 'Yes, Father, in the dream, Father.'" Joe continues, "I then confessed all my sins to him. Before he gave me absolution, he said to me, "Now then, there is something else, you know." I said, "Well, Father, I can't remember anything else." Padre Pio went on to describe an incident with a girl in the park when Joe was first in the army. "It all came back to me," said Joe. "I wished the ground had opened up and swallowed me. I was so embarrassed." He then said to Padre Pio, "Yes, Father, it all comes back to me, and I'm afraid I forgot to tell it in confession. I am so ashamed." "Well," said Padre Pio, "you have been carrying this sin with you ever since 1941, and the place was Blackburn, which is a city in England." After receiving absolution, Joe got up to leave, but Padre Pio stopped him. "There's something else you have forgotten," and there was a slight smile on his face. Joe said, "Oh no, Father, truly there's nothing else I can remember." He thought it was about another sin. Padre Pio said, "Look in your pocket." Joe took his rosary beads out of his pocket and gave them to Padre Pio. He blessed them and gave them back to Joe. End of story. Now, as Padre Pio reminded Joe of the rosary he had in his pocket, I'd like to remind you, my dear viewers, to pray the rosary daily. Padre Pio considered it the weapon of our times. To illustrate just how powerful this spiritual weapon is, let me share a short but compelling anecdote from The Secret of the Rosary by St. Louis de Montfort. Listen to this. St. Louis de Montfort recounts the story of a nobleman's daughter who was placed in a monastery where the nuns were more interested in worldly pleasures than in spiritual growth. The confessor of the nuns, a priest with a deep love for the rosary, wanted to guide this young woman toward a more devout life. He instructed her to pray the rosary daily while meditating on the life, passion, and glory of Jesus Christ. As she faithfully prayed, her heart was transformed. She began to reject the wayward habits of her fellow sisters, developing a love for silence and prayer despite their mockery. During a visitation, a priest had a vision of this nun praying before a radiant lady surrounded by angels who repelled devils trying to enter. This vision revealed the dire state of the convent and the profound impact of the rosary. Moved by his vision, the priest gave rosaries to each nun, encouraging them to pray daily. Remarkably, the nuns gradually abandoned their empty pursuits, embracing a life of silence and devotion. Within a year, they even requested a reform of the monastery. This transformation illustrates the extraordinary power of the rosary to change hearts and lives more effectively than any reprimand. So take up the rosary in your own life. Let it be your weapon and your shield, guiding you closer to God and transforming your heart in ways you might not expect. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. This simple action helps our channel grow and reach more people who love Padre Pio as much as you do. We have more inspiring Padre Pio stories and reflections waiting for you. Check out the specially recommended videos on the end screen or click the links in the description below for a full selection of great content, including our Padre Pio Thoughts for the Day playlist. And don't forget, you can also enroll your Mass intentions for next Friday's Padre Pio Holy Mass. The link is in the description below. Thank you for being a part of our community, and stay tuned for the next video on the life of Padre Pio.